So I believe you understand my analogy, right, Michael? So that's why we use variables. So in DAX, we can also declare variables, right? You know, I want to divide total sales by the global total sales. I can put them in variables. First thing is the name of my measure, which is global, let me say, percentage or total sales by global. Now equals to, I can go to the next line by pressing shift enter. This is the name of my measure. Now I want to declare variables. Variable. This is how you declare VAR. What is the name of my variable? It's like that of A that I just did. The name of my variable is, let's say, denominator. Let me just call it denominator. So my denominator is what we have before now, which is total sales. Right? Shift enter to go to the next line. Let's now use this. Let's use VAR total underscore sales. Right? Yeah. That denominator is not working because it's a DAX function itself. It's using it. So the next one is VAR global total sales, which is the numerator. The global underscore sales, right? In this case, that will be what now? Now I want to calculate this. So I can calculate this now to be calculate, right? Sum of, or let me just say total sales. Total sales. No. So total sales, which is this one. All right. Then my filter now is, I want it to bring me all of what? All of the column now that's really is concerned with this is the table that is really concerned with this is the orders, right? Should we put the orders? Yes. Let's pass in the orders. Yes. Now we are not done. Sorry, we are not done. So hit shift enter again, right? We now say, okay, sorry, global is not. Sorry. So let's change this one. Global. So then the next thing is, I now want to divide, I can now say return, just like programming, return. Now I can now call my variables now. So instead of writing all these guys twice, I can now just call my variable, which is total sale. Let me change this to total sale or SAL so that it will be. I can now call them now. Total, you can see it here. It should be here. Total sale, right? So I can say divide. Numerator by denominator global sale, right? And it's, you can see now, and hit enter. So I'll set. Now you see that this one is working. I don't know if you notice now. This one is working. Now, so that you won't, let me copy this guy so that you see what I'm trying to say. Right? Michael, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
Okay. You can see what I just done now. So I just did like a programming. So return, let me put this return here. So return, I'm saying return division of this guy. This guy, total sale is holding all of this. Global sale is holding this. So I now said return division of this one by this one. This is what I've just done here. So I want to create one more measure. I want to show you something. So we did total sales by global. Let me now say new measure global sales, global alone. Global. So I want to make global this one. Right? Let me drag it here. Let me drag it here. Let me drag it total sales as well. Total sales. Let me remove other ones. Now you can notice that total sales by global sales, total sales. Global sale is repeating. Why is it repeating? Because of this all. We said all, that's the difference between all and, remember when we switch, you just repeated that 10, 10, 10 all true. That same all true is now repeating the total all true. So it's working now. So, and which is what we wanted. We wanted to divide the total sales for each by the global, this by this, 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 like that. So it's working, right? But it has a disadvantage. It doesn't remove outer filters. What I mean by outer filter is when I add another filter now, and I add another filter now, and I say I want to filter by, okay, Michael, talk.
Is it what I'm doing now? Is it the same thing with total sales percentage of total sales?
Yes.
Okay, that will use all selected.
Yes, I just want to show you the difference between all and all selected now. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
So you can see that
okay,
when for this our global, we use just all, and it worked, right? It's repeating the total. So which is when we now use our, so where is that formula? This one. We now declared variables and we said, okay, total sales, which we've calculated before, divided by global, which is this same formula I just showed you now. Are you now giving us this, right? So it's dividing this by this, this by this, this by this, this by this. But all is working. And I want to show you a case where all will not work and why we need to use all selected, right? So if I now pass in, let's say, let's go to product, right? Let's now see subcategory. If I click this now, what can you notice? There is something wrong, right? This guy is right, but you can see that this guy is no more right, because what it's doing is it has just reduced the total, right? It has filtered this one, and it's not making this guy correct again. So it's not doing it based on that. So to correct this error, that's why we now use all selected. For all selected will still consider, you can see. So the total sales is reducing, but normally we don't want it to reduce. It's reducing based on art. This is the total for art. When you go to appliances, it changes for that of appliances, but we don't want such reduction. We want it to still be the global and still calculate and filter both. So in that case, we now need to use all selected. So that's why in this case now we now use global, we now use all selected. right? So we don't need to pass in any argument. Just say all selected so that it will. You can see now that is now reducing. You can see before now when we used all, it was not changing, right? Which is, this is what we want. It should be changing based on what is being picked, right? So it should be changing, but it was not changing. So it's now changing. So if I take art, it will change to the total of art. If I remove all, it changes to the normal total, right? So if I'm filtering, it should be giving me the total. This guy global should be changing as well. So I will now go back to my total by global or percentage. Let me now change the name now to what? Percentage, percentage total sales. So percentage sales, right? Percentage sales to total or something. So percentage sales, I can now change this one to all selected. All selected, right? And then hit enter now. And then everything calculates well, right? So that's the difference between all and all selected. So if I do this now, it changes, and it's giving me my right answer. So that's how to declare variables, which is very important. It helps in performance of your DAX query. Where is it? Total sales. Okay, percentage total sales. So declaring variables helps in your performance. So the way we did it this way, instead of, we can, instead of doing all this, I can just say divide, right? Divide. I will now say numerator is total sales. Divided by, I will now say calculate. Calculate. I will now pass in this one. All right. I will now pass in this guy. I will now close. Instead of doing this, that's what we're doing. This one is better. So you can declare variables, you can return, and then you have your answer. So we've done our percentage sales. We clear this. Percentage total sales. We've done average monthly. So let's look at, do we have more than 1 year in our fact table? So we have more than 1 year. We might want to look at considering clear all filters. Come and say, just look at it. Okay, we have more than 1 year. We have 2016, 17. So in this case, we want to look at previous year sales, right? And in that case, sorry. Okay. So in that case, I can do what? I can say new measure, 2 ways, right? Okay, it has created the formula in the wrong place. Let's come back to our measure table. And then new measure, right? So to calculate previous sales last year, so we might want to compare sales last year with sales this year, right? So to calculate previous sales last year, in that case, we are going to use time intelligence functions. And the time intelligence functions include total year to date, total month to date, total quarter to date, right? And then we have dates year to date, dates month to date, dates quarter to date, right? Then of course we have previous same period last year. Same period last year. We have a lot of them. We have date at and a lot of them. Now, these guys are used to return total year. When you say total year to date, this is every third. So if I'm going to do total year to date now, it's going to add every sales I've made from January to April 3rd. If I do total month to date, what would that be? It will just add April 1st to April 3rd. If I do total quarter to date, what would that be? It will start from second quarter, which is where we are, April 1st to April 3rd. That is quarter to date, right? But what is the difference between this total year to date and total date year to date? It's used to perform the same thing, but the difference is for us to use this one, we have to use it with calculate. Calculate function is needed, right? For these other ones. So we'll look at both in a different. So let's say last year's sales. Let's say we want to look at last year's sales. So what do I need to do? If I want last year's sales, I'll just say total. Sorry, total year to date. Total year to date. YTD, total YTD sales. I'll just use total year to date directly. And what do I pass? It says expression and the date. I'll just pass in my total sales, which is what I've created since, and then the dates column. All right, and then the date column. And that will be all. Let me name this one. This is when I'm using total year to date. So if I want to use date year to date now, I will have to use calculate with it, right? It will still give me the same answer. So let me use total year to date, total YTD 2. Now, to use that other one, I will have to use calculate, and it asks me for my expression, which is still my total sales, right? And then I can now use dates year to date now. Dates, you can see dates year to date, and then it asks for the date. So that's the difference. For date year to date, I will use calculate. For total year to date function, time intelligence function, I don't need to use calculate. I will just pass in, you can see, I'll just pass in the sales and date. But for this date year to date, I will need to use calculate. So that's how you can calculate total year to date, right? We still have 15 minutes. So let's also calculate last year's sales. So I might want to be able to see what is my sales last year, right? New measure. Last year sales. So calculate. The expression is total sales, Abi. Total sales. We want to look at last year. So two functions that can be used. You can use same period last year, which is direct. You just take the date function, and that's all. So this will give us last year's sales. I can use, let me name this one. Right? Hit enter. So that gives me sales last year. I can also decide to say I want to use new measure 2. So instead of using same period last year, I can use another date time function called date add. Now, how does date add work, right? Date add takes 3 arguments. You can see it. So I want us to see the 3 arguments. So you can see data takes 3 arguments. So not showing here. So it takes the argument, it takes the date, the interval, and the interval, maybe is it in year or in months? Let me escape. So the date, number of intervals, and the interval itself. So it's saying if I can do last month sales. So if I want to do last month sales, for example, all I need to do is just the date. My interval is -1. Then my interval here, I will pick month. If I want to do last quarter sales, I will pick the date. The quarter is 1, last quarter 1, and then the interval will be what? Quarter. If I want to add 3 more days, let's say sales in 3 days, for example, I just want to add 3 more days. All I need to do is what? Pass in the date. My interval here will now be +3 instead of -3 or -1 that I was saying before, and then my interval will be what? Days. So let's see for last year now. I'll pass in my date, number of interval -1 because we are going back by a year, -1 year, last year sales, and then my interval will be what? Year in this case. So if I want to go +1, that will be what? Instead of using negative, I will use positive. So this one now gives me my last year sales, just like the way I use same period last year. Where is it? The first one. But you can see obviously that this other one, date add, has an advantage because I can do for last month sales, last quarter sales, last day sales, right? I can do for that. But for same period last year, that's all I can do. I cannot do more than that. I cannot manipulate it. But this one is manipulate, right? So that is that about that. Now let's now say, let me use this in a table so that you understand. Let's go and drag here, right? And then let's drag total sales. So you can see here that total sales for 2014 is this, for 2015, 2016, for 2017 is this, right? Let's now say we want let's now say we want to see total last year sales, right? Here's our head last year. You can see that this one will give you the same answer. Now look at this now. This is telling us that in 2015, last year is what? This is 2015 sales. Last year, which is 2014, is this. You can see that it's the same thing with this. In 2016, the sales is it. Last year is 2015. You can read at this 470, the same thing with this. So it's giving us sales by last year. Now, if I now want to find the difference, you can see that in 2018, there was no sales. But last year is 2017. You can see it, right? Now, let's now see. I want to know my percentage increase in sales or my percentage decrease, right? I might want to know my decrease, right? Maybe my business is growing or not. All I need to do is, this is 470 for this year, 484 for last year. Is that a growth or decrease? That's a decrease, Abi. So in that case, I will say 484 minus 470,000 divided by what? 484. Because you are going to divide by that of last year and you convert it to percentage. That gives you your percentage decrease or increase in sales. So in this case now, it's a decrease. So you say, wow, compared to last year, we had a decrease of 20% in our sales, right? It's just like, for example, last year you made 5,000. This year you made 4,000. 4,000 minus 5,000, that is 1,000. 1,000 divided by 5,000. Right? That is 20%. So there is a 20% decrease in sale compared to last year. That's what that is. So I can create another measure under my measure table and name it new measure. All right, and say percentage decrease or increase sales. right? So all I need to do is this way. I want to use what? I want to use variables. So I'll say variable this year, right? So this year is the current, that is total sales. I will just pick this one. That's all. Shift enter. Hold on. VAR last year, right? Which is what? Last year sales. Hit enter. Then what I want to do is percent. So this is the name of my measure first. So I can now say return, hit enter. Return what? Last year minus last underscore. So the name of our variables, last underscore year minus this underscore year, right? Or I can also pass this one as my Control X as one variable as well. VAR difference. So that becomes last year minus what? This year. So I can now say return difference divide. So I can say return divide difference, Abi, by numerator is what? Last year. And that gives us our answer, right? Then I can now come here and say, okay, make it a percentage. And that way, if I drag it in, I will to get what? You can see this is 2.83 decrease. This one, there was an increase, right? This is also an increase. So, but it's better we just change this to. So then you can see that our formula is easy to now manipulate, right? All I need to change here is just this one. Not that I will have to rewrite everything again. So you can see now. So hit enter now and everything changes. So you can see is so minus A is my percentage decrease, and then this is saying positive is saying is an increase. So 2.9% increase in 2016, 20 point something increase in 2017, 2.83 decrease in 2015, and then this can help, right? So this is in short. If I need any other calculation, you can also calculate. At least basically in the case of what I'm doing, I think I've done average monthly, average daily. Have I done average daily here? Average daily is here. So you can also do average yearly. If I want to do average yearly, just pass the date. Sorry, the year part of the date, and then do that source, and that gives me average yearly. We'll be able to say, okay, average sales per average order per customer, average sales per customer. You can see, okay, these are the, we can also now do, okay, top 10 customers that raised order. So you know the distinct unique orders, right? So unique orders per day. Where is unique? We have unique orders. So I can pick a date. Pick the date below. All right. Or let me say, sorry, the customers that go to the customer name, right? I can now pick unique orders, right? So I can sort it by clicking there, and I can see that, wow, Emily Fan has the highest number of orders raised, right? So this is doing, you can see where this comes in now. This, if we are doing unique orders in this case, we want to know, we don't want to know if he has raised 1 million orders per day. We want to know, okay, today he raised order, next day he raised order, right? He raised order per day. So he has raised 17 different. So, but if we now look at, now want to see how many orders he has raised in total, right? You can now check total orders, right? You can see that his total order is what 31, but uniquely he has 17 orders. So we can now look at this to say, okay, I can run promo for the top 10 now. So I can go to my filter, right? I can come to yes, filter. Filter is separate. Let's go to view. Then click filter, right? So come to view. If you can't see it, click filter. There it's back. So I can come in now and say, maybe I want to see unique orders. I can drag in unique orders here. Add data feeds here on this page, right? So on this, let me click on my report. On this, I want this filter to be on the report, on this visual. So you can just come. I will now change less than. So I want to say top 10. So this should be giving me. I should have two options here, right? Okay, wait, let's cancel this. So maybe I want to give customers that have values greater than orders greater than 10. All right, so I'll just say 10, and then I will apply filter. So these are the customers that have orders. So I can now run my promos and all that. So this is how it works. So maybe next class we'll try and conclude our dashboard. I wouldn't want to give us an assignment because my assignment will be on. I want an assignment now to be a project, right? So that but since we have not built any dashboard, so next class straight away we are done with all our measures now. We build the dashboard, and then because we need to start SQL next week as well. So okay, so this week so far, this we postponed this class last week, right? We postponed this class, that's why we had 2 days stretch, right? So I'm going to build this dashboard as a video, and then I will send, right? You go through it, and then on Saturday, right, we have our session, and then so I will send this right this week, the dashboard after I built it, send it to you to digest, and I will send the project to us as well along the line. So we are going to work on that project. That will be our project for both Excel and Power BI combined together. We are going to work in an end to end. Then when we are done with that, by Saturday we'll review this class, the video I sent, and then we'll start SQL. That's same Saturday. This an introductory part. If it is just installation, we'll do that. I hope we are good with that. So any question before we call it a day?
No, sir.
Okay, so see you on Tuesday or Wednesday. You get the videos for the build dashboard and the projects. All right. Have a nice
Okay,
day.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir. All right, sir.
and then you get the videos as well, the recordings.
Okay. Okay, sir.